What's up guys, WOOO here, back again with another Division 2 build video. Welcome back guys. Today's build is my Bombardier drone build for PvE. Guys, I've been using this the last few days and trying to find the perfect recipe for this build. The perfect kind of combination that would really harness the power of the Bombardier drone. And this, I feel, is my most comfortable way to roll with this build. And again, as I go through the pieces, you'll understand and hopefully kind of agree why. Now, I asked the community, what do you want to see? And to be fair, it's my own fault. I did include the Bombardier drone. I thought no one would choose that skill because nobody uses it. And lo and behold, 60% of you said you want to see this kind of build. Damn guys, you know that's bad. You have crossed the streams definitely with this build. I've used this in PvE quite a lot. Now, I've been trying to find, again, the perfect recipe, and I feel this is a good way for me to roll. Because, one, I want to, again, as many drone bombs as possible. It's difficult with this build. However, this is, again, I feel a strong way to roll with it. Because if you do miss at first, and to be fair, if you've got potato aim with me, and to be honest, even if you don't have potato aim, you'll find it highly difficult to try and aim with the Bombardier drone. It is highly frustrating. I've had many times where the pad has nearly, again, replaced the Bombardier drone and been thrown out the window because it is really awkward to use. But once you get it going and once you find some kind of rhythm, it's actually quite decent. Will it replace the Seeker Mines, guys? No, it will not replace Seeker Mines. No, it will not replace any kind of explosive damage whatsoever. But it's a fun way to roll. If you like using different versatile builds, this is something that you may try and may enjoy whilst the content is lackluster. So guys, if you enjoy the build, hopefully you do, you know what to do, thumbs doodle, that helps, it helps me and the channel. And if you're new to the channel, drop the WOOO bomb on the sub button, ding the bell to be notified when I upload my content. Guys, let's WOOO this. Guys, this I feel is a really strong build for the Bombardier drone. Is it the best build? Again, I don't think anyone can tell you if there's a best build for the Bombardier drone because they would be telling fibs. I promise you guys, I promise you that. Now what I've opted for is this kind of setup where I'm using the capacitor. Obviously it's the best kind of skill build weapon in the game. My secondary is the Harmony. Quite obvious if you do need to switch, that is a good option. And Demolitionist is my go-to specialization with this. I did have an idea initially to see if it would work, however I just kind of got frustrated using it. I really did, and I don't have the most perfect pieces for a Demolitionist Gruppo piece, and again maybe that would do okay as well, but what I wanted is survivability. What I wanted is spam bombs as often as possible, and again to get a meager little bit more damage here and there. It doesn't really matter. I want more bombs more frequently because my aim is piss poor. So let me go for the build. Demolitionist, chosen spec, guys, you know why, for that extra explosive damage, and you need that to go big bada boom with the awesome, and it is awesome, the Bombardier drone. If it isn't, then answers on a postcard to an address I won't give you. But yes, let's take a look at this. 1 offensive, 1 defensive, 6 utility stats. I am 913k armor, 330k health, and of course I am 6 skill tiers where you need to be on this build. You need as many skill tiers as possible. Let's go through this. We'll start with the mask. The mask is Empress International. This is my God Sausage Roll mask. It is beautiful. It is Empress, and we know what this does by now. Now, I had the option of being, do I go for 2-piece Gruppo for that 15% explosive damage, or do I go for 3-piece Empress International? I opted slightly down the Empress route, and I'll explain why. The pieces I have for Gruppo aren't perfect. They're good. They're good pieces, but not perfect pieces. Whereas these are what I wanted. Again, that perfect combination of skill damage and armor regeneration to give me more survivability in those sticky moments in PvE. I have tried to use this in legendary content, however twice I've matchmade, twice I've been kicked from the groups because I'm using the Bombardier drone. If that's any indication of what people do feel about this skill variant. Moving on. So skill damage, armor regen, and armor on kill. Now, I don't need skill haste on the build because when you see the chest piece, you'll understand why. So skill haste is quite redundant on this setup. What I do want is something that's going to replace that and give me something again that will really optimize my build and give me more survivability. And armor on kill is a nice little tickle, a nice little trickle of armor once you get in those kills. Yes, I do like this. So skill damage, armor regen, and armor on kill is the defensive mod. Now, Empress International, skill health, skill damage, skill efficiency. We know what skill efficiency does. It's 1%. Yeah, 1%. You're looking armor regen. Where am I going? We're talking 1% skill damage. We're talking 1% status effects, 1% skill haste. All this kind of jazz that keeps adding up. And it is really, really good. And I do recommend skill efficiency as a third piece of this. If you can do it, then guys, get it on. Now, the holster is not the Empress, not the waveform holster. I've opted for something a little bit different. And again, we'll explain why shortly. Skill damage, armor regen. You can see, guys, armor regen is near enough everywhere on this build. Again, because I want to garner as much regeneration of armor as possible to keep my hat in the ring as long as possible. I want to stay alive on this build. And again, I want to be a little bit, again, with this build, is a little bit risque. I want to get up close and personal to drop as many bombs as possible to really cause some carnage amongst the NPCs. Skill damage and armor regen are the attributes of choice on this setup. Now, the last piece of Empress International is the gloves. The gloves are looking quite sexy here. Skill damage and armor regen. And again, guys, yeah, you can switch this up if need be. You could go for those two-piece groupo. That is an option, guys. Make sure you test it, see what you think. Let me know in the comments section. I've opted for Empress International. These are perfect pieces for me. And I feel, again, it'll get me a little bit more survivability. And it suits my playstyle of aggressive skill building. And that is getting up close and personal, dropping those bombs. In all honesty, guys, what you could do with this build, you could sit back and say, screw it, I want glass cannon on the chest piece. I want the waveform holster. I want to sit my ass in cover, get groupo on there. Happy days. Jobs are good. And then just spam those bombs. However, guys, we know it's very difficult to aim on this. So it's nice when you get up close and personal because you know your hit attach is usually quite good if you're up close and personal. Once you're at a distance from NPCs, guys, the aim is atrocious. It really is. So you need to be close in that 10 to 15 meter bracket to make sure you're hitting NPCs. And that's why I've gone down the route of 3-piece Empress. Guys, the Kneepads, you need 1-piece channel light for that 15% explosive damage. It goes a long way. You know, it really does. Skill damage and armor regen, again, are your chosen attributes. Get them everywhere possible on the build. And again, armor regen will speak dividends with the build and your, again, survivability in these sticky moments. Guys, we'll take a look at the backpack. And the backpack is the Memento exotic piece. Now, why have I opted for this? Because, again, this is kind of, not many people use this that I know in PvE. It is a good piece. It's not the best backpack piece, but it is a nice backpack piece. And again, what a lot of people do now is use the waveform holster that makes the Memento backpack redundant. What I wanted this for, again, let me just go back a little. I want to be really aggressive with the build. I want to get as close as possible so I can just spam those bombs. Get it close to personal, roll back, the bombs are dropped. Again, it's going to cause damage and cause carnage between these NPCs and hopefully get you some kills. Once you get in some kills, what happens is you're going to get those buffs, those nice buffs. So let me go through them. So enemies you kill drop a trophy on death. Collecting trophies provides both a short and long-term buff. The first of which scales with the number of core attributes equipped and lasts 10 seconds. So with this, guys, you can see I am at six guys, skill tiers, and I'm at 1 red and 1 blue. So 5% weapon damage for that core. I'm looking 10% bonus armor, which is nice. That does trickle over, and that's really helpful in any PvE for that extra bit of survivability, and that 5% skill efficiency. For every trophy collected, gain an additional 1% weapon damage, 1% skill efficiency, and 0.1% armor regen for 300 seconds. The maximum is 30 stacks. On this build, there's near enough 20k armor regen, and that's not taking into consideration the memento backpack that will keep pushing this forward to keep giving you more survivability. So that's why I've opted for this. Yes, it is slightly less damage than the waveform holster, and yes, there is no Grupo, so I am mitigating some damage, but what I am getting in return is some huge survivability, the bonus armor, some more weapon damage, so I can face tank a little bit with this build, and not to mention some really nice kick-ass bombs that are going to cause some damage if they are successful on hit. That's why I've opted for this, and again, armor on kill for more survivability. Don't go skill haste, you don't need it because of the chest piece. And the chest piece is Wyvernware. 10% skill damage, you know now, it's key. You got to get it on your build, get that Wyvernware on there, happy days. Skill haste, skill damage, and armor on kill. I just need to again optimize the skill damage on this, but see, to get 0.1% is just, yeah, it is what it is. It doesn't really bother me. So over time, when I've got the relevant materials, I will optimize this to get to 10%. It may take me about 10 years, but I'll get there eventually. Armor on kill again. Again, I don't really have many armor on kill pieces, but if you have some nice ones, you're going to get some nice armor on kill back for once you're getting these kills, which is good. You could potentially get around about 57, 58k of armor on kill, which goes a long way to keeping you alive with those pesky NPCs. It's all about the talent tag team. This is why you can get your bombs back quicker. Tag team, the last enemy you have damaged with a skill is marked. Dealing weapon damage to that enemy consumes the mark to reduce active cooldowns by 6 seconds, and the cooldown for this is 4 seconds. So let me demonstrate how this works in the range. So very, very simply, let's just check. Skill haste is, let's get that disabled. Let's go back to this bad boy. Let's just pop a bomb, pop it like it's hot. See that 19-second cooldown. If I just use this and I just go little shot, there you go. That's saved me some time. We're on 4 seconds. Half jobs are good in, and it's back again. So just very simply, I can just spam these again. So I've got a couple of bombs. There you go. Some nice little bit of damage as well. Let me just shoot that. There you go. 10 seconds remaining. Let's just get one more. Back again. So you can have your bombs back in no time, because you can just keep spamming these. It's a great effect. And it's going to cause some nice carnage over time. Back to 10 seconds again. And let's just get one more tag. It's behind that little vault. Yep, there you go. Happy days, it's back again. That's how tag team works. That's how effective it is. It marries really well with the assault turret. You get that assault turret, it does all the work for you. So leave it, sit it back, and then just again aim where necessary at NPCs and switch it to where or more, again, if they're closer to you rather than far away on the battlefield. What happens, you will get your primary skill back quicker. You shave off 6 seconds for every time you mark and tag the enemy. It just makes sense, and you could say, yeah, I could use glass cannon, I could get more damage. Use kinetic momentum, I get more damage. But are you going to shave off 12 seconds within that 19-second frame every time? That 12 seconds effectively is more bombs, a lot more bombs, which means ultimately more damage over time. The tag team is more effective than having something like glass cannon. Again, it's all about playing strategically in this day and age, and that's the way I would run with this. And that's why tag team is so good for any PvE content. So that's the setup, that's the gear. Let's take a look at the weapons. Primary weapon, we know now, is the capacitor. We know what this does. It is the best skill build weapon in the game, bar none. Get it on, it is beautiful. They're the stats. Capacitance, talent. Shooting enemies build stacks to a cap of 40. Each stack grants 1.5% skill damage. After 5 seconds, stacks decay 1 per second. For each skill tier, gain 7.5% weapon damage. So I am 6 skill tiers. So let's work this out. So that is 22.5% times, because that is free, times it by 2, 45% weapon damage. Awesome. Given I got the Mentor backpack as well, that is just more weapon damage that I'm hitting harder with this build. And then skill damage, which is the stacks capped of 40 at 1.5%, and that is 60% skill damage. Guys, you can see why now this is the best skill build weapon in the game. Crit chance, rounds, crit damage, and weapon handling are the mods of choice. Now the secondary is the harmony. I use the capacitor literally 99.999% of the time. I only use harmony if I've got no ammo or I'm in a little bit of a pickle. I need to do some damage quickly, then this is nice. It just pairs really, really well because you have the talent perfectly in sync. Hitting an enemy grants 20% skill damage for 5 seconds. Using a skill or damage an enemy with a skill grants 20% weapon damage for 5 seconds. Of course, guys, yes, damage increases are double while both buffs are active at the same time. Again, nice to have. It's a nice secondary weapon. By all means, you could use this as your primary. I personally wouldn't. I would use the capacitor. You get that stacks up in no time, so capacitor is my first choice. We know by now, guys, I don't use sidearms, but this is what I'm using if need be, and that is the TDI card custom. Pistol damage is max, in sync again. That is, again, the lesser version of perfectly in sync, so it's 15% times 2, 30% overall skill and weapon damage, utilizing this talent. Let's take a look at the skills. Now, the first skill is the Assault Turret. It has a cooldown of 17.6 seconds. That is on the high side, guys. It truly is. But don't worry about it because, again, the way you look at this, you have tag team. Tag team pairs really, really well. And once you pick up that turret, you know you're not going to use it again for a little while. So don't worry too much about the cooldown being so high. Yes, you can get it down to 10, 11 seconds, whatever. Irrelevant, guys. It is irrelevant. Use different stats, use armor on kill, use crit damage, use crit chance, whatever you want to cause more damage. I feel it's the better way to go to get the most out of your build. The base damage is 111,708. That's before the stars are aligned and anything else kicks in. In terms of the talents, in fact, yes, I have missed something, guys, because I've been playing with Technician with this. I have missed this. You slap this on. So slap that on. Demolitionist will give you that 10% mod, which is brilliant. Another 5%, that gets me to 114,292. I've been using Technician, just trying to get the best out of this and trying to find the best way to really push the build out. And for me, it's Demolitionist, and that's why I've not put that on because I was using Technician in the last game. But yeah, that's the way I'd look at it, guys, is get that on. Mod-wise, damage, of course, that 10%. Health, 7.9%. That's probably the best way to go. You've got duration. No, I'd go for health. Just make sure you keep it up longer. And skill haste is the only mod that I have for that area. So then we go for the drone, the Bombardier drone. There's a cooldown of 18.9 seconds. Let's take a look at the drone. It's duration. Again, I've got the deflect duration, so you can go for either one. It's fine. It's not a problem. Then we have damage. That is the best way to go with this. You want to get as much carnage as possible, so damage. And then 2 extra bombs. Yes, 2 extra bombs, so that will push it from 9 to 11. I'm doing 176.590 million damage, which is tasty. Again, bear in mind, Grupo will give you some more damage. Of course it will. Don't worry about that. That's something to bear in mind if you want to use a Grupo piece. The blast radius is 4.5 meters, so it's not too shabby. So that is, again, we're looking at the weapons, gear, and skills. Let's take a look at the stats. Again, with any build, and especially skill build, don't worry too much and don't really fret about how your weapon stats are looking, because ideally your skills will do the work for you. So this is irrelevant. It's nice to have some decent numbers. It's nice, of course, but you can't be perfect. You can't have the best of both worlds. So don't worry too much about this. My all weapons damage bonus is 68.7%, and we know Memento Backpack will push a bit more out as well. 30% AR damage, 15% rifle damage, 25% explosive damage, and we know Grupo will give you 15% more. As I've said many times in this video, test it out and see what you think. If you have the perfect pieces to have 2-piece Grupo and get your piece of explosive damage from China Light and Memento, then yeah, see what you think. But for me, I've just opted for a bit more survivability and just to see how much it can affect the build, and I prefer it this way. But let me know what you think in the comment section. Armor regen 19,700, which is great. It's only the chest piece that is devoid of armor regen. If you had that, then you're looking pretty much nearly 24k, which is awesome. Awesome sauce. But again, how this works, and I'll demonstrate now. In the range, you cannot use, again, armor regen. It doesn't really show you once the stacks from the Memento backpack. It doesn't work, so you don't get the trophies. But let's just take a look at this, just so you've got an indication of how much armor regen is worth on this build. So again, you can base an idea. And as you can see, it's not too shabby. And then you've got to take into consideration, let's just waddle over here. Let's just pop that up, and let's just take one of these down. Watch the armor bar now. You can see that just take that little jump, that little spike, and another one, and that's again getting them kills. That's because of the mods. That is nearly an extra 60k armor that I'm getting per kill, which for me is perfect. It's perfect on this build, and that's why I've opted for that, to give me some extra survivability. Also, once you get in them trophies, you know that armor regen will be even stronger. So that's, yeah, you know what it is. Firstly, let's just pick that back up. Nice. Okay, and then lastly, we'll just take a look at the skill haste. As I said before, guys, skill haste is redundant on this build. You don't really need it. It's not an issue. It's only 42%, but that's fine. I have a little bit here and there. It is irrelevant, guys, because of tag team, so you don't need it. But it's one of them, guys. I'll be completely honest. I've used the Bombardier drone now for a little while, and I prefer other skills by far. But this is, I feel, the best or the most fun way to roll with the Bombardier drone is survivability. The ability to also spam these drones, these bombs, to give you the chance of hitting more targets. So that, again, that's what I prefer, rather than more damage and potentially missing. If you've missed, you've got to wait another 17-18 seconds to get it back. So it is really up to you, being the user, what is your preferred playstyle. Me, this is it, and I'm enjoying this. But I'm going to go to the next skill, and we'll see how that goes. And of course, if you enjoyed the video, not to do, thumbs doodle, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.